All right, so we are live. How is everybody tonight on this amazing Wednesday evenings? So you all know that I love Wednesdays. Why do I love Wednesdays? I was born on a Wednesday. Wednesdays are ruled by Mercury's energy. It's a great day to communicate, to share, to teach, to learn. And you're going to learn so much tonight. As if you don't know, tonight is another spotlight interview from one of our amazing speakers coming from the Cosmic Evolution Summit. Let me introduce myself. I often forget to do just that. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness NY. I am your certified holistic personal trainer, holistic integrative teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. And like I said, I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. I'm going to ask that you all take a minute just to share out the show. So wherever you are in the world, if you're watching through Facebook, share it out. If you're watching through YouTube and you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe channel for me, the thumbs up as well. And I'm going to do the same once I bring my guests in. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. Let's get this party rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Channel for me, the thumbs up as well. Okay. So if you have not shared it out, please go ahead and do so. We're running, running, running. It's all good. All good stuff. All right. So let me go ahead and share a bio of our speaker for tonight's spotlighting, Abby White. Now, I should actually put on my glasses for this, but let's see. Maybe I won't have to. Abigail is a proud, I'm going to say it wrong, excuse me for this, proud, she'll correct me, Virgo queer, medical intuitive, and registered nurse with advanced certification in pediatrics and adult life saving and trauma. And an intuitive her entire life. I love intuitives that know that they are intuitive from childbirth. She was the child that heard, saw, and felt what others couldn't and was called crazy or told to sit down. Her stubborn streak and faith into the Creator had her listening to neither. The first in her family to go to college, Abigail obtained a bachelor's in neuroscience and nursing, and then certified as a professional intuitive. This is going to be a powerful conversation, people, because when we get, as I like to call it, the Western and the spiritual coming together, I'm super excited for this. She is the owner and founder of Breath of Life. Wow, let's all take a breath on that one. An intuitive guidance and wellness company devoted to teaching all who are interested how to heal and achieve their optimal level of health. So here we have it. Let's bring her to the stage. Let's clap her in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Abby, how are you this evening?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And excuse me if I botched up your bio. Some words there. If I said anything that I said incorrectly, feel free to correct me.
I don't think so. I mean, I would say right at the beginning, just in case anybody didn't hear, I'm biracial, queer, medical intuitive, and nurse by trade. So if anybody was like, wait a second, what did Reverend Joanne say?
Exactly.
That's what that
is. Exactly. And exactly. Exactly. So tonight we're going to have a lot of fun because we're spotlighting Abby. And what's making this particular spotlight interview more interesting for me from the first two interviews that I've done so far, and for that matter, for the other interviews that's coming along for the rest of the week, is Abby and I, this is like our maybe second or third interaction in real time. So I really have absolutely no idea who Abby is. where all the other Spotlight interviews that I've had and will have, I know a good portion of who they are, what they do, how they do, why they do. And so this, for me, is so exciting because I love to get to know people, not just from the 3D level, but from the more of the soul spiritual journey that they are on. And just as we know, Abby's on a journey. She's not just on a journey to help people heal from the 3D perspective. She's on a journey to help people from the medical intuitive perspective. So before we dive into just all of that, just tell the audience just a little bit about what is a medical intuitive.
A medical intuitive is somebody who can look at your energy and your body and be able to tell you what's going on and how to fix it. That is the way that I describe it. I will be very honest, and not everybody has the the ability to see all of that. So you will see people saying that they're a medical intuitive, but they only have a part of the aspects that I have, or the abilities that I have. Part of what makes me so unique and special is the fact that I've spent over 2 decades of my life studying modern medicine, as well as the body, physiology, biology, chemistry. And then throughout my entire life, just really having, so that would be 3.5 decades, just really understanding my own intuitive guidance and understanding how it works, and really getting a handle on what it is to be able to have these extrasensory perceptions and these kind of superpowers, if you will. So there are definitely medical people who call themselves medical intuitives out there who don't have any medical background at all. There are people who don't have any real like intuitive knowledge per se. They use specific tools, but maybe don't have the entire basket of tools that I have. So my definition is very much just for me. So
Yes, and I love that because I can relate because as a medical astrologer, very similar and very different as to a medical intuitive. And as Abby and I both have said, because she does have a background in nursing, she definitely has that inner knowing in regards to really connecting with the physical body and being able to sort of scan the physical body to get a better understanding to what might be going on with somebody on a more intuitive level. So I love that, and I'm loving the fact that you've known about this since you were a child. So, and when as a child, what I know, as you as said in your bio, that many people sort of hush you down. But as a child, were you like really into it and able to freely let people know what you were feeling and seeing and sensing?
yes, and it wasn't easy, to be that kid. It's hard to make friends. It's hard to keep friends. It's hard not to be perceived in a certain way. But I was stubborn, and I knew that I was right. I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't say I knew who I was talking to, or who was speaking to me, or what I was seeing. But, you try, and, when you're a kid and you are able to perceive somebody getting hurt. I remember very clearly, like one of the biggest ones for me was I was in elementary school, and a friend of mine was wanting to go across the monkey bars. And I remember seeing so vividly him falling and getting hurt. And I shouted at him and was like, "You cannot, don't do it. Don't do it." He had some other reasons for why I felt like it was going to be a like dangerous thing for him. Like his hands had some problems. And so I knew he was doing it because he had practiced, and he was really wanting to test himself, and he didn't want to be left out of the games and being able to do. And we usually like let him try. We never, him and his friends and my friends that were around him, we didn't ever really baby him. But this one time, I remember seeing that he was going to fall and hit his head and have a pretty serious injury. And so I was telling him, and I was telling everybody, "You need to stop him from climbing up, stop him from going across." And of course, nobody listened. And he got about halfway across and ended up falling. and hit his head, and there was blood. If you know anything about head injuries, they are very messy, even if they're not very serious. And to be that one to start shouting at the kids even at that time, I remember being a very like, I know exactly what to do. um, so
Yeah.
I immediately was like, you go and get one of the teachers, you get over here, give me your sweater. Um, and thankfully he was okay ultimately, but um, even after something like that, kids have a hard time understanding like what is happening and why did I know? And I couldn't say, I
Exactly.
didn't know. I didn't have the language. So it was
Yes.
an interesting way growing up, for sure.
Hmm. Yes. And as a child, that is challenging to be able to explain to somebody why you know something you know without knowing why you know it at that point in time. Now, as you become an adult, now one of the things I often hear from psychics is when, or should I say from the spiritual realm, is sometimes a situation, a person needs to go through that situation. It's part of their journey and the agreement. And if we as intuitives intervene by telling them to go the other way, to have them avoid that situation, it's almost like we're blocking that journey that they have. Have you, in your journey as a medical intuitive, have you felt that way?
Of deciding when to tell somebody something versus not, am I understanding that question correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that there's definitely been things that I've been told, what, you could say something and they're not gonna believe you. Um, I don't really feel like I've questioned it much. I have a very different viewpoint of
Mhm.
life and how we go through, and it's something that I teach my clients and my students about how to release and let go and submit and surrender and all these other words, right? That are very uh, clickbait now nowadays. I use them here because I know people will understand them, or that
Yeah.
these are the most colloquial terms. Obviously I use different words with my students, but I don't I'm just like sitting here thinking, like, have I ever been in a position where I've been talking to my guides and been saying to them, like, I think that I need to like let them know, like, and then, having this like push pull. And no, I really don't. I trust source and I trust my guides and I trust what I'm given. And have very clear protocols on when I should say something and when I shouldn't. And one of the things that also sets me apart as an intuitive is my bluntness. So I really do feel that people don't come to me unless they are meant to hear it. So
Yes.
that me being told that I shouldn't tell something is rare.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. My mantra for 2025 and even a part of 2024 was I'm going to be real and raw. It's not
Mm.
going to be sugarcoating anymore because I think we're in a time now that we have to stop walking as though we're on eggshells because we're afraid to trigger people. And I think with you and I, it's that point where we have to be real and we have to be raw so they can hear it and they know we're speaking to them because there's something that they need to do. Moving on to my next question, because I could sit here and talk to you about medical intuition throughout the entire night. So, in regards to what 3 rules to living a good life, what are your 3 rules to living a good life?
Ooh. One, understand your emotions. Most people don't. The emotions are how your energy and your body speak to each other. It's literally the language of your body. Most people get it mixed up and they think that it's symptoms and all these things. And it's firmly not. It's firmly not. um,
Yes.
Two, I would say have integrity, which I think is it's a quality that many have decided is optional. And I will say, sure, to live, absolutely optional, I guess. But for me, it's a very clear line of, if I want to be a person that has all of the things that I wish for and have gotten to a place where I deserve them, then integrity is something that needs to be had. And it's non-negotiable for me. And the third one, I would say, is probably a tie between being being in a state of authenticity and gratitude simultaneously. And
Ah,
I feel like this very much leads into this idea of you have to hold two truths simultaneously. In fact, if I'm being very honest, you have to be able to hold multiple truths simultaneously. I think right now, the world, especially now, is very set on we need to just make everything black and white. And I don't think I've ever been in that space. I think part of the reason why I chose this vessel to inhabit is the fact that it's literally the betwixt and between of everything. I'm half black and half white. I'm bisexual. I'm, I'm a female that doesn't always present super feminine. I hate pink. And so like, I would not say, I would not say that my behaviors or my mannerisms are necessarily hyper female. Um, of course, it doesn't mean that I don't wear lipstick or have nails or whatever. But I mean, I just feel like I've always been in this in between, and I've always been very capable of being able to see two sides of things or multiple sides of things. And I feel like this is a truth that we really need to latch on to, is this ability to be able to say, okay, well, yes, I can be correct, but so too can they. And I think this ability allows you to live a great life, not just a good one.
yes, I love that. And as you're saying all that, what I keep hearing is you're like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You're the best of both worlds. So I love that. My next question for you is, what is something you believed about the health industry and now you don't, and why?
That it can cure people. And I would say I don't believe that anymore, because after spending 2 decades in it, watching what we do, medicine has a lot of great things about it. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't still be working at bedside if I didn't feel like there was some value there. But I think we have gone very, very wrong in our understanding of what it means to treat people. And I think that humanity in general, the general public, has really gotten it messed up for why it is that medicine exists and why it's here. And so I firmly, I mean, it's part of the reason why Breath of Life even exists as my business, because I realized that what I was doing inside of the hospital wasn't going to help people long term. And it can't be the cure. It can be a help. It can be a stabilizer for people. It can be a place where we can learn more, but it can't be the cure.
I love that. I love that. Next question. Oh, I love this question. What is the worst health advice you received?
The worst health advice I've ever received. I actually have never received health advice because I don't get sick. It's one of the blessings and gifts that I've been granted with my understanding of how the body works. And so the last time that I got sick was the last time I got sick, and that was decades ago. Um, and at that time, I was not in I didn't have the language of being an intuitive, but even prior to that, I was just not a kid that got sick. So I've never, the only time I've ever gone to the emergency room was when I got into a car accident, and I really shouldn't have walked away from it. I wish I could like show pictures of what my car looked like. I got T-boned on my driver's side. Like I was driving and I got hit by a box truck. And the box truck was going something like 65 miles an hour. I shouldn't have walked out, and I did. And I didn't have anything but some like a minor burn on my hip. And little like tweaked shoulder. But to me, injury and sickness are slightly different. But even when I like was going through and like having them check me out, they were like, this should be a lot worse. Like you should like have problems. And within a week, I was like back doing all of the things. Like I didn't have any lasting effects from it. And all of that because I knew exactly at that point, because that happened about almost 2 years ago. At that point, I definitely had all of the things that I know now. I even know more now than I knew then. And I went through and I like healed. I put that in air quotes because I was like, well, this is what I do. So let me do what I do. Let me do what I
Exactly.
do.
Exactly.
But I never have actually received like health advice. What I will say that I've heard other people, because I've been present for a lot of medical advice being given to people, is the worst thing is that they should like listen. This is going to sound so strange. I'm going to try to get through this very quick because I know that we're running out of time. But is to listen to their body. That is the worst piece of advice that anyone can give anyone if you do not know how to actually listen to your body. Because people need to understand that emotions are how your body speaks to you, not symptoms. And most people will listen to symptoms, and therefore anything that they do in relation to the symptoms is going to be a Band-Aid. So it's really ridiculous to tell people to listen to their body when they don't actually know how to do so.
Exactly. And I love everything you said, especially in regards to the fact that you've never been sick. Because as I sit here and learn about Abby, as I said earlier, this is really like the first time she and I are having this heart-to-heart conversation, spotlighting her. I'm learning a lot about her, and that she and I have very similar perceptions of how we see things, because I too don't believe that there is such a thing as sickness. We really don't get sick. It's our body's way of talking to us in reference to bringing things back into alignment, because emotionally there's so many of us who are out of alignment just based on different traumas that we have not healed from. So I'm loving the fact that you share that, and I'm even loving the fact that, and I know this may sound weird for some, that you shared that you were in a car accident that you should have not been here for. And the reason why you are here is because you're here to do the work that you came here to do, and why you didn't get as seriously hurt as somebody who might not have been you is because you have the tools, and which I always say the universe has some serious jokes when comments come up like this from the universe, which is the universe was literally testing you at that point in time to see, as you were in that accident, could you adapt to the tools that you have that you use for others, for yourself? And you did. Mm-hmm. And you took on some more tools.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful that you survived that. And I'm so grateful that you're here and sharing your story with us. So thank you. Moving on. And if we do run over just a little bit, as long as Abby's with this and okay with it, we're going to run over just a tad, because I'm really intrigued by all that she's sharing, and I don't want to cut her midway. So as long as Abby's fine with it, and if we hit that midpoint, if there's something else you need to do, say so, and we'll stop at that point. So my next question, being that you do work long hours because you are a nurse, and I believe you work 3 12-hour shifts?
Yeah, yep.
Yes. So how do you manage your meals? Because working 3 12-hour shifts as a nurse, going, and then of course when you do get your 4 days off in a row, you're probably resting and everything else. But I don't want to anticipate what it is you do. So share with us how you manage your meals on the 3 days you're working your 12-hour shifts, and then your days when you're off.
Yeah. So when I'm going to work, at the hospital, I do a lot of like prep to meals, things that, leftovers and things like that. I really love making salads, and it's a great way for me to get as many colors as I possibly can into my diet. That way it's super easy, and I can prep a lot of that stuff ahead of time. And then when I'm at home, I love to cook. I come from a family that's huge, and many of them are cooks. And I'm about just listening to what my body needs. I'm so in tune with it at this point that I know exactly what I need when I need it. I'm also really, really advanced in my body's utilization of nutrients. So I don't need to be on a like strict schedule. And this is all like work that I've done. This is definitely not something that I just like came out of the womb with. You know, at one point I was eating solidly anywhere between 3 and 6 meals a day. And when I started in the nursing field, I had to, you know, be very specific and have a lot of snacks with me and things like that. But I read my body so well now that I know exactly what it is that my body needs and what it's processing. I know exactly how much water I need day to day. I know exactly how many additional calories I need based off of where I am in my cycle versus when I'm not, you know, or outside of my menstruation. So it's really about being in tune, but I do really focus on just getting as many nutrients into my diet, as many colors into my diet, as many vitamins into my diet. And that I think has pushed me to a level too, where I can go and eat fast food, you know, a couple of times a week if I so choose. I don't do that often because I don't enjoy that. My body doesn't need that, right? And I'm going to say this, I hope it doesn't trigger anybody. I'm not lazy like that. I'm not like, oh, no, I'm for the convenience. But if for whatever reason, you know, life happens and I do end up saying, oh, I'm going to eat pizza this day and, you know, go out for a burger this day, my body is at such a level that I have wiggle room to fall before, you know, I hit like rock bottom. And then I can easily say, well, I made this decision yesterday. Now I make a better one today. And I think that that's the other part that I have is just grace with myself of saying, you know what, I get to live. I get to truly live. And I think that that allows for me to really want to eat well, to plan my meals when I can, to make sure that I'm getting all of the things I need and not feel terrible when my body is asking me for hot cocoa or something, you know, or a Snicker bar.
It's so funny that that's what you use as your example because I love hot cocoa. I can drink hot cocoa summer, winter, spring, fall. It doesn't have to be freezing cold out. In fact, the hotter the day is, the more I enjoy my hot cocoa. And that's just what it is. And I think I truly believe because I'm so like you, very attuned to what my body needs and what my inner child needs. And just really a short story about me and my inner child. When I was younger, sadly to say, because I was so focused on being healthy as a child, very abnormal for children, that I sort of deprived myself from certain things most children would eat. So here as an adult, I want to make sure my inner child is getting all the love she needs. And if she wants that hot cocoa, she's having that hot cocoa. Doesn't matter. So I totally get it. Love it. Next question. We're going to move on to if you can change something about the medical industry, what would that be and why?
I would want to add in more integrative practices like I teach in my work outside of the hospital, really teaching people to understand this is how your emotions and your energy are actually dictating what happens to your body and the physical symptoms in which you have, and understanding that if you are feeling one emotion, it's tied to this narrative or this identity that you are running, and that is why you are out of alignment, and here are the skills that you need to do in order to get yourself back into alignment, and that will actually allow for your body to stop being in illness or stop being in dis-ease or dysfunction. So I would love to see more of that. It's actually a dream of mine to be able to create a place where exactly that exists. This really beautiful cohesion of all of the things that we pride ourselves on, the ability to do surgeries and to do things that will help the body along when things are broken, but also bring back the old world stuff, the knowledge that we lost, the and then bring in the new updated stuff that I teach now and love.
Yes. So you were moving into a question, an answer to a question that I have next, which is where do you see yourself in, most people ask like 5 years from now, where do you see yourself in 3 years from now?
3 years from now, I have a storefront where I am just kicking off buying land. Like the storefront has been doing well for a while, and we've been teaching and we've been training and we've been selling our holistic products and things like that. And it's been doing so well. And now we're looking at buying land or have already bought land, probably somewhere out west a little bit, where there's space and the means, and we're looking to build some really amazing spaces that will just take what we've been doing in the storefront to the next level. That would be the dream.
I love that. And it's so interesting because that is like one question I ask all of my Spotlight interviews. And I truly believe that all of us women really need to come together because that question that I ask, you all answer the same way. Every one of us want to expand and offer a space for everyone to come together in community. And whether it's to have a space where people can actually feel comfortable enough and safe enough to stay at, or to come to that community and learn different skills and utilize them. So I really think all of us women should really, like, the universe needs to really pay attention and get us all together and make this happen. My last question for you for tonight is, what is one inspirational conversation you would like to have with your 5-year-old self?
What's one conversation I'd like to have with my 5-year-old self?
That's an inspirational conversation.
I was a fighter when I was 5, and I think I would probably just pour into her how proud I am of her. Not that she would need it. I'm the same person today as I was then when it comes to that. I don't need pats on the back. I don't need cheerleaders. I know exactly how fantastic I am. But I think for me, that is where I would want to go with that sort of a conversation. An inspirational conversation with her is just telling her how proud I am of her for not giving up, for never surrendering, for stepping up. At 5, I was very much a little adult, and needed to be. And I've never been resentful of that, and I've never been upset by that. It has gotten me to where I am today, and I can see in her at this little baby, somebody who is never going to give up. And I think I would just want to thank her, because without her being that way then, I would not be this way now.
Exactly. And sometimes even the strong ones like yourself at 5 years old often need to have that little pat on the back and hear how wonderful they really are, even though you know you're wonderful, but be able to receive that, be able to like hear someone else say, Abby, you're amazing. Abby, you did a fantastic job. Hearing it is a very different experience than knowing it within yourself. But having the confidence of knowing it is extremely powerful. So I love that. So as I said earlier, Abby is one of our guest speakers at the Cosmic Evolution Summit, which is being held on February 16th. And her topic, tell everybody your topic title. I have it here as well, if you don't have it in front of you.
I don't have it in front of me, and I apologize because I kind of forgot what my topic was.
It's all good. That's why I have it, because you just never know when someone doesn't remember. Because I'm very good at that too. I love it when I start into a summit and I sit with the hosts and they start talking to me and I say, well, before you go, can you tell me what my topic is? And they look at me like, no, don't know. I said, not a clue. Not a clue. Couldn't tell you. Don't have notes on it. Wrote it down somewhere, but don't know where it is. So Abby. Topic is the holistic edge of peak performance, thriving beyond your limits. She will be speaking at 3:30 p.m. on February 16th. For those of you who are interested to being with her in the Zoom room, because the Zoom room is free. However, you do need to reserve your ticket so you can be in the Zoom room with us. The Zoom room link will not be available anywhere on Facebook. So you do need to reserve your ticket. And to do so, you can either reach out to Abby or reach out to myself. If there's anything that Abby has shared with you tonight that's resonating with you, I have her email showing at the bottom, breathoflife069@gmail.com. Please reach out to her. And again, save the date, February 16th. She's speaking at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm super excited to hear more about her on that day. So, Abby, I'm going to send you backstage. Just hang out back there until I come back. Doo-doo. A little mouse. All right, so there you have it. I'm hoping you were just excited as I was in reference to getting to know about Abby White. Oh my God, this was such an amazing conversation because, like I said, out of all of the Spotlight interviews I've done and will be doing, this was the first one that I really got to know the person at the same time you got to know them as well. And that really gets me excited. And the work that she does, the work that she's doing, oh my God, it's a blessing that she's here. I'm grateful that she chose the path that she chose to do what she's doing as a medical intuitive and also a registered nurse. So both worlds coming together, and she's going to change the world doing what she is doing. So again, I want you to come join me. Another Spotlight interview is taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, I will have Linda Boney here with me at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, save the time. Put it on your calendar, set your alarm clock, whatever it is you need to do so you can come join us. I'm just double checking the time for tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Linda Boney and I will be here together, and we're going to get to know her as well. Until we meet again, everyone, have an amazing night. Bye-bye for now.